Yet again, we find ourselves talking about Mayor Mayor Lightfoot on this channel. Yeah, I was going to talk about something hilarious today. I had a very funny video planned up, but unfortunately, we have to talk about serious matters of equity. And because of that, we need to mention that this is the second time Mayor Thunderfoot appears on my channel. The first time she appeared during the COVID Sharia, when the government finally took pity upon you, looked at you with compassion, and said that it wants you to be safe. And because it wants you to be safe, it told you that if you go to work, you're going to get the full arm of the law descend upon you. Like, they're going to punish you if you have the audacity to go to work and put food on the table. Instead, you need to keep locked up in your house. All right? You need to keep safe. And Mayor Thunderfoot decided that she is going to ignore the government. She is going to speak truth to power by going and getting a haircut during a time when no one else was allowed to get a haircut. And when the evil reporters found out that she has managed to go to a hair salon, her answer was that, well, yeah, but she's a public person. I mean, she can't just show up on television without her hair done. Right? Like, she can't be mistaken for the peasantry. Like, she is a person in a position of power. And I had all but admiration. This is why I love the Democrats, because they are the party of strength. They are the party of unity and healing. And if you want unity, you need a strong fist, like a very, very strong arm that wraps around the people and holds them tight together so they can be united. And that is the fist of a great leader. Only a great leader can hold the people together in unity to make sure that they comply. And when I saw a leader that during a pandemic, during the lockdown measures, goes and get their hair done, I was like, okay, this is the person for the job. This is the right person to lead the people into the future. So I admired her, honestly. Like, she's one of the most influential people of our time. Every time I have a difficulty in life, when I'm placed in a position to make a difficult decision, I'm like, what would Mayor Thunderfoot do? What would they do? Because it's very important, like, you need influential and strong people to guide you in your life. That was the second time that she comes up in a conversation. And this time it seems that people accuse her of being racist. Because she said that she doesn't want any more of those stinky white journalists at her press conferences. All right? Like, she wants the prestigious people. She wants the creme de la creme, the correct people with the correct skin color, with the correct pedigree. She doesn't want just like white people. Now, people said that this is racism, and I firmly disagree. I think it's equity. It's very equitable that all these journalists who have spent the last years writing clickbait articles about so many cis straight white men, the patriarchy, yes, all these journalists, it would be equitable if they take a back seat. If they take a back seat and allow other members of their profession, like, for example, this beautiful lady from The Independent, she deserves to be there. Like, she has done the correct things. Her parents had sex with the correct people. So because of her genetics, we need to allow more people like her into positions of power, give more stuff to people like her, while the people with the wrong genetics need to take a backseat. How is this racism, may I ask? I mean, this is literally in the literature. Literally in the literature of the academia. It talks about what equity is. It means taking land, power, and resources from the people that have too much and give it to the people that have less. How is this racism? I mean, this is what people have shilled for the last couple of years. So if you shilled for it, now you're getting it. Why are they upset? Because now finally they're benefiting from equity. Now, of course, some wrong-sayers, some right-wingers might point out that this is a diversion. It's a diversion because if you look at how Chicago is right now, it's not a very equitable place. I mean, there is a lot of wealth disparity going on. The crime rate has increased by 50%. A lot of people that end up dying are people of color, right? But I think they're just right-wing bigots. They're just racists that really do not appreciate the forward thinking and the brilliant leadership of Mayor Thunderfoot. So, in other words, she does not stand against white reporters, but in favor of their black and brown peers. No, I think we should not have white reporters at all. Like, I definitely think if it's white, it's not equitable, right? Just hire black and brown peers. You know who should be the only white person at any single mainstream media organization? The person in charge, the CEO. That should be the only white person. Other than that, doesn't matter. I mean, hey, you know, isn't it how the world works? Isn't it how we live in the era of pretend? I mean, literally, like, I looked at gaming companies that were shamed for being too white during E3. So what happened afterwards? Like, they just hired spokespeople of color. So as long as the PR person is diverse, then the company is diverse. So, yeah, I mean, if it's the era of pretend, why do you even need to hire white reporters? Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has announced that she'll only be taking interviews regarding her last 2 years in office from journalists of color. In a letter to Chicago media outlets, Lightfoot wrote, "In the time since I was elected, our country has faced a historic reckoning around systemic racism. In looking at the absence of diversity across City Hall press corps and other newsrooms, sadly, it does not appear that many of the media institutions of Chicago have caught on and truly have not embraced this moment. Naturally, social media went into a whirlwind. Right-wing media and provocateurs, horrible people, are claiming that Lightfoot refusing to speak to white journalists is racismus. But I, most sensible people, would argue it is anything but. It is not racismus action to attempt to promote equity, especially when newsrooms maintain an environment that only compromises 17% of non-white staff and 13% of non-white leadership. What is racismus? The right-wing man comparing Lightfoot's natural hair to Beetlejuice because you disagree with her policy decisions. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine making fun of a politician? Like, being sarcastic about it. Making fun of the appearance of a politician. Who does that? What type of person would do that? Orange man bad. As a black and Native American writer living in Harlem, I find Lori Lightfoot's demands to only speak with journalists of color rather reasonable and, more importantly, commendable. You know what I also like? She's not saying like she's going to speak more with journalists of color. No. Exclusively. Like, even though you're in a majority white country, not a single white person whatsoever. You know what? Perfect. No, seriously, I fully support this decision. I wish more politicians would do it. Lightfoot's decision is a move to showcase journalists in Chicago who understand or at least can sympathize with her lived experience. Yes, every single journalist of color has the same lived experience as the city mayor. You know why? Because of genetics. It's the genetic tree that binds everything together. The reality that binds, that shapes us. I mean, if you're a person that's born in the gutter, you have the same lived experience as the US president. If you share the same genetics, right? In a region and who will write accessibly for her constituents. Yeah, like, I mean, how can you expect a white person to write proper articles about the city mayor? Are you insane? With newsrooms and journalism being so overwhelmingly white, and I mean literally, to refuse to engage with white male writers who cannot fundamentally understand who she is governing for is not a radical position. It is sensible, and the right-wing media's reaction shows us why. So, you're telling me that this is like Nazi Germany? Like Nazi Germany? Like, I really hate right-wingers that make this comparison like, already, boom, Godwin law. So the comparison is like, oh, so in Nazi Germany, if Hitler wouldn't want to speak with Jewish journalists because they're overrepresented and they have too much power. It's like, no, okay, that's anti-Semitic. This is equity. Why don't you understand? It's so goddamn simple. Stop making these comparisons. They're horrible and disgusting. Like, please, just be like normal people and stop overreacting. This is equitable. It's completely normal. And we should focus completely on this and not the rising crime rates and wealth disparity and failing businesses in the city of Chicago. Okay, that's what far-right people are concerned about. Normal, decent people are concerned about this. Equity. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section.